Okay, we have more people joining, admit. And I guess we can start. Well, dear colleagues, thank you so much for your time, and thank you, Olga, for arranging coordinating this. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Narges, and we represent Six Senses Properties in different markets. We've been working actually with Six Senses Group for 15, 16 years actually by now, and today we'll be covering 4 hotels. I suggest we start with the Seychelles, then we move to the Maldives, and we'll end up with Six Senses Zighy Bay in Oman. So during the presentation, I will try to focus really on the key points, on the frequently asked questions, on maybe some of the nuances as well that are important for you to know. And I will not go into every single category, square meters, all the boring stuff. So, but just really to give you an overall, I would say, overview of the properties. Feel free to ask any questions. And let me share with you the screen. Let me know, please, if you can see it. Okay, so screen sharing, entire screen. Okay, here we go. Can you see your beautiful selves? Partially on the screen. We are there. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So then let's start, as we mentioned, Six Senses Zil Pasyon. Let me hide all of this. Okay, Six Senses Zil Pasyon, dear colleagues. Okay, we'll start with the location. Location is the property is on Felicite Island, and it is actually surrounded by other islands around. As you see, Prana or Praslin is around here. It's 20 minutes by boat. Ladig, 10 minutes by boat, and then you have smaller ones like Marianne, Petite Sœur, Grande Sœur. And for the markets that like to do hop on, hop off, I think this is great opportunity as well. It's you get truly the Seychelles experience and the proximity to other islands. For Ladig, I also wanted to mention that there is at least once a week as minimum the program when the hotel will organize that for a small fee, a trip to Ladig. And to reach Felicity Island, the best way to do it is from Mahi by helicopter, which is 20 minutes. And on the left side here, you can see the Felicity Island. I wanted to mention that it is one island, one hotel. And here you can get a little overview. And not far from the hotel, this one is called Coco Island, by the way, which is often in many documentaries because it's a bird sanctuary. It's quite nice, and it can be reached 1 minute by boat from the hotel, or even by kayaking around 10 minutes. So as I mentioned, helicopter 20 minutes, and you know that there are some limitations in the Seychelles with the helicopters in terms of the numbers. It's quite limited. So all the bookings is done through the hotel, but then it is provided by Ziller, the service itself. And of course, clients who combine, they can fly via, for example, they can fly to Prana, and then from Prana they will drive to the jetty, and from the jetty it's 20 minutes to Felicite Island, to Six Senses Île Passion. Here you have an overview of the nearest islands, and actually this is something, an experience that personally I liked at the property. And let me allow whoever joined us. Okay, Kate. Something that I really appreciated at the property is that you have the beach experience, but you also have, the height. So you have the overview, you have the hiking given option. That's quite nice, and you can see it actually quite well here on this image. Now for the property itself. So you get an overview, and I wanted to mention that the villas, as you can see them here, if you can see my mouse, they're really hidden in between the rocks and the vegetation. And however, there are no villas with direct access to the beach as such. There are some of them that are nearby, but no direct access, and you can see that on the map. So some of the villas are on top, and then some of them that are lower, for example, they will have a closer access to the beach, but not a direct one. And The beach, talking about the beach, I know for some markets, whether it's in Europe, CIS, some of the CE markets, the beach question is very important. I want to cover that a little bit in detail. So here I've marked 3 beaches at the property. However, some of the beaches are suitable for just, photo shooting, I would say, and others for swimming. And for simplicity, I'm going to call them small beach, number 4, medium beach, and a big one. So for the big one, it is, and we'll see it in details. It's not really for swimming. It's really for picnics, etc. But the best beach is a small one. It's the one on the left in here. Also, I wanted to mention that it's a good one. As you can see here, there are rocks on the side. So basically, it's protected. Even if it's windy, there are no currents. So it's quite good to swim year round. And here I did include some of my personal pictures. You can see also the entrance, and this is lower tide. So obviously, when there is a high tide, you can see that the sand. And I took this picture specifically at the low tide, so you can see the entrance. It's clear, clean, the beach, sandy, just the way we like it, or many clients like it. And then, this is another shot that I took, obviously from different corner. And in this on this beach, there are cabanas as well that the guests can enjoy. And this image is from the beach that's in the middle. Allow me to go back to the map. It's this one, and this one is a big one. So this one in the middle. So there, in some areas, there are corals, and you can see them on the right, on the left. However, there is a part in the middle where you can see very good entrance to the beach in here. And this is again note the low tide. This was low tide, so you have in the high tide another few meters where you can get very good entrance to the beach itself. For the Grand Anse, the big one, it's really good for picnics, for weddings, for photo shoot, just for a nice walk because it's quite large, long beach. Now they will be doing sometimes some barbecues there, and here's an overview. There is some hammocks to relax, but then there are a lot of corals on that beach itself, so you cannot really swim. It's not suitable for swimming conditions, but great for photo shoots and other activities. So that's for the beaches. Any questions on this subject? No? Can move on because I know some markets are quite particular by this point. But the main thing to remember is that there is at least one of the beaches is quite good for swimming. And here are just some random images to give you a bit of the vibe. And it's a beautiful property. Actually, it's a very photogenic property, I would say. Now, if you go into the villas, there are 30 villas and residences, plus residences. As I mentioned, they don't have direct beach access. But there are some of them in elevation. There are buggies that service these villas. The ones that are lower, they're much easier to walk in and out. Again, all depends on the guests. And they're all with swimming pools. And again, dear colleagues, as I mentioned, I'm not going to talk about every single villa in details, just to give you an overview. What I wanted to mention, however, that the villas this summer, as of now, they will be going through minor renovation. I would say more cosmetic, some changing, some of the furniture works and so on. So it's going to be individually. It's not going to affect any guests during this period, but so doing some upgrades here and there. So all the villas have amazing views. Actually, with the exception of maybe 2 or 3, the hideaways category, others have sea view, either sunset or the sunrise, and swimming pools. And I wanted to mention the bathrooms. The bathrooms are really amazing. Actually, this was the only fam trip that I had, like a visit to a hotel where I took a bath because it was so beautiful. It was sunset, and you have this, and I was like, okay, I have to do it. They're very big, the bathrooms. And here, maybe you can see the hanging cords here. That's a swing as well. You get on the sides the mirrors that you can, the mirrors you can put on the side so you get the views, but if you need to use them, you can put them in front. And also, there is actually a smart toilet that opens up when, the Japanese, they call it. So the bathrooms are quite amazing. It was interesting, actually, because yesterday I received a picture from an agent. They work with you, this agency. And she sent me, she said, I'm loving it. And she sent specifically a picture from the bathroom itself. Now also for the swimming pools, I wanted to mention that, as you can see, they have all little lights in the main swimming pool, in the villas as well, and it's amazing when we have them in the sky and in your pool as well. Now there are different categories. Again, dear colleagues, all this information is available on the website. I wanted to mention that Six Senses have a very good website in terms of the plans. All the plans are available, and with images and quite detailed description. And there are also the two-bedroom categories, and then we have the three and the four. So these categories, I know you did have some bookings, and they're quite amazing, specifically for the swimming pools, because you can see that it's two levels, and there are pools on the top and on the bottom as well. And this shot, you have to, if you were not looking at the screen, please do, because this is actually, yeah, that's one of the most popular shots of the property. Dream of every blogger, but not only. And because one of the pools, the one on the top, is transparent, so you can see the living room at the bottom itself. And I will go back in here. So that's the one on the top in here, and that's the living room down there. You can see that view. Very suitable for large families and a group of friends, of course. And here's another shot of the pool. You can see on the top. And these villas, actually, the sanctuary and this escape, they are located at the top. Then you get the four-bedroom as well, and that's the plan. So every room has individual bathrooms, and there is a guest area, and so on. So that's for the villas. Moving on to food, F&B options and activities. I wanted to mention that in all Six Senses properties, you get either the Earth Lab, where there are a lot of sustainability efforts, activities with engagement with the client, Eat with Six Senses concept, grow for the kids, and then sleep when it comes to wellness. So when we talk about Eat with Six Senses, for those who might not be familiar or who, as I understood, you have some new team members, Six Senses follows certain standards when it comes to food. There are no restriction. You can eat French fries and burgers, but you can be assured that it will be the best version of that burger or French fries, because some of the oils have been completely eliminated. A lot of items like ketchups and mayonnaise are done in-house with reduction or elimination of sugar, and some of the oils, as I mentioned, that they're not used completely unless it is organic. It's always local. It's always organic food. So it's and also working with the local community, with the local farmers. So basically, it's part of the sustainability concepts and efforts. And at the property, there are a few outlets. I wanted to mention as well, dear colleagues, that there will be some additional restaurants opening up at the property, Japanese restaurant that will be actually on top in here. We have the main one. There is one of the restaurants that is only plants or seafood, the chef's table, and also I wanted to mention that there was a comment actually. See, depending on the market, many if you're talking European markets, for example, GCC, they would come for short stays. I would say 3-4 nights, for example, depends. Some markets I would stay a bit longer, 1 week, 2 weeks even. So for guests who stay for longer period, please do let us know, inform us, because we understand that they would want some varieties in their food, and then if we know that, then the F&B and the chef will work closer with the guest. As it is, they put a procedure in place. On the fourth day, the chef will talk to the guests, and actually the hotel for specifically these long-staying guests are adding some additional options right now. They're going to be doing barbecues with the long beaches as well regularly, and there's a lot of destination dining opportunities at the property. So for us, as long as we know that the guest is staying longer period, that there will be more efforts put there. But there will be again an additional outlet. We know that was needed because we've been getting such comments. There is also wine cellar, as you can see on the screen in here, and the wine tasting can be arranged. And talking about destination dining, then this is one of the most popular among couples, of course, but also families, where you get an amazing sunset views, and the nearby islands as well. A truly fantastic and a wow experience for sure that we often recommend for our guests. Then there are cooking classes. We're moving into the activities. There is actually, this is a Happy Me on the ice cream cart in here. There's ice creams for the guests as well to use around the pool area. Pétanque with some wines as well as part of the activities. And actually there is an activity list for guests. Some are free of charge, other are at an additional cost. And Cinema Paradiso is one of them, at least once a week. Then you have everything related to the water sports, the subboard. And actually, this is a Coco Island you can see in here. You can go on subboard by kayaking as well. It's also quite nice to visit. I wanted to mention about the house reef. So there are a lot of efforts from Six Senses in planting the corals and so on. But Seychelles, as you might know, was heavily affected by a warm and hot wave where a lot of coral has died. But I have to say that it's coming back slowly. It takes time. But I have heard lately a lot of good comments overall about the house reef and snorkeling experience. A lot of turtles, rays, and so on. Obviously, it's not comparable to some of the Maldives properties and Maldives snorkeling, even with Six Senses Laamu, for example. However, it's for Seychelles level. Actually, could be quite interesting. Other activities, and here you can see me again as a peacock. And this is actually an interesting experience because you can do hiking at the top of the island, and there are also, I think, at least 3 trees of coco de mer, as you know, the most famous cocoa on the island, and that's one of the leaves of that palm, coco de mer palm. So it's quite interesting. And on the property, and you can see I took these personal pictures. There are a lot of limes. There is vanilla growing, and all of that is wild there. Cinnamon and other exotic fruits, star fruits, and so on. And it's all part of the hike experience. And then, of course, visiting the neighboring island. You can see that's how the hotel organizes it, with some sparkling beverages or not, depending on the guests. So definitely interesting, as I mentioned at the beginning, to visit the neighboring islands as well. Grow with Six Senses is a program for kids. So a lot of the values of Six Senses, we're talking about whether it's wellness or food, etc. These programs are reflected in the Grow with Six Senses. I have to say, families usually we get them over Christmas or Easter. So most of the time it's mostly couples. There are, of course, exceptions in general, but a lot more families over Christmas and Easter. Otherwise, it's mostly couples. Then the spa. The spa. Actually, it's one of the most beautiful spa centers of all Six Senses, I have to say, because you get the impression that it was not built there. You get the impression that they have planted seeds and the spa grew up there. That's the impression I get, because even when you go, you can see on this picture on the right side, going to the spa center between these big rocks and going under them, and some of these rocks are implemented in some of the massage rooms, etc. It's really amazing. It has great facilities, great view, another pool, an infinity pool, and we call them like spa villas, actually, so they're quite nice. There are also different activities at the spa center related to wellness. There are programs, if you're a guest into that. There are programs related to sleep, to detox, to fitness, and so on. And actually, a lot of this, there is a very good coordination between the spa wellness and people who are on these packages with the food and beverage, with the restaurants, because on the menu you will see that this is recommended for sleep, for example, or some items preferred or some items to avoid, or for fitness and so on, or detox, for example, and there will be some marks on the menus as well. And yes, there are yogas on a regular basis, at least a couple of times a week in the morning, and you get meditation. There is activities at the alchemy bar as well. So that's for Six Senses Il Pasyon, dear colleagues. So any questions before we move on to the next property? I think I mentioned, okay, I almost mentioned everything. Let me just add a few points. So I did mention that there will be some upgrades this summer, very much needed. There will be new restaurants as well. The GM I wanted to mention is really nice. Frank, please let us know if you have any guests who need special attention. He's very much hands-on. He has been with Six Senses Group for a while. Then I wanted to mention also that we have some special offers. We have availability for summer. It's coming very much last minute. The destination, a lot of last minute bookings. So a great time for honeymooners, June, July, and August and beyond. And I think that's maybe the key points. Okay, move on to the next one. Yeah, of course. Mhm. Yeah, there is a program called Grow with Six Senses for kids. There is a kids club, and with the program called Grow with Six Senses, and they do have activities for the kids as well in there. A lot of activities are outdoors related to creativity. For teenagers, they would join the adults as such in general. And But again, if there are any specific things, I mean, we have, by the way, we had requests where agencies or yourself, for example, your team members contact us and tell us, listen, the father and the mother want a real holiday, please take care of the kids. That's it. We'll keep them busy as long as we know that. But as such, yes, there is a kids club, and there are activities in there. And again, it goes from planting, working the organic garden. It can be related in the water. It's as well as painting and doing things with sustainability related, wellness related as well, and so on. But mostly, as I mentioned, we get a lot more couples. Just Seychelles as a destination, right? Is mostly, maybe I would say, couple, and then the property itself, I would say, right? So it's very private, very secluded, but the families are welcome. Of course, we have the two bedrooms, three and four bedrooms for families as well. Yeah, dear colleagues, we can move on. With your blessing, right? Kanuhura, next one. That's Maldives. So, Six Senses Kanuhura. Is there anyone who visited actually Zil Pasyon possibly? Maybe. Yeah. Well, yeah, yeah. Well, Zilpassin will definitely go through improvements as of this summer. Kanuhura, I know, I guess you visited there, two of your colleagues who visited when it opened. Just, I think, the second week, if I'm not mistaken. I've been a couple of weeks afterwards, and I can say that there were changes. Even when I came back, there were changes. There were good changes, and the property keeps improving, obviously, since it just opened. So, dear colleagues, allow me, yeah, to pass, I mean, now to go into details about Kanuhura. So, we used to represent Kanuhura before it was Six Senses. So for me and for us, for the team, it was interesting to see the changes that were quite, I have to say, quite frankly, positive. And the property reopened, as you know, last year in September. Located 40 minutes approximately flight by seaplane. And I wanted to mention that the lounge at the airport now is shared between Six Senses Laamu and Kanuhura in both properties. And that's the island you can see here. Actually, it consists of two additional islands. There are three in total. And what I wanted to mention here that's important to know. So first of all, I have to say the island itself is very nice. It's natural island. There is no erosion. There are no wave breaks that they had to put in. It's an island that you can just go around and walk all around. Also, in fact, interesting fact is that Kanuhura has been gaining some land. If you look at the right side in here, these palms were planted recently, and because Kanuhura has been gaining some land, because the local authorities will do this calculation, at least from this side, and it's quite green and natural. I have to say that I've heard that for so many people, so many colleagues, hoteliers, even who work for competition. I work that from people who work from Ministry of Tourism Board in Maldives, and many of them really always mention Kanuhura as an amazing island. And now, what things for you important to know? This part of the island, if you can see my mouse in here, this side. Okay, hold on. I'm going to try once again. uh, so, um, oh my. So, all this area on the top, I would say even starting from here. So this area is where you get the lush area. In here, this is new plantation. So a lot of this vegetation is new, closer to these villas, and these villas are new. So this is, if you can say, maybe the older part of the resort over there, over this area, and this is a new part in here. I'm trying to do, but this is a new part, and the old is older, right? So basically, the vegetation here is growing. It's doing a good job in growing. It's much better than the opening, of course, but it would need some time to be at the level we wanted, right? So that's in terms of privacy and so on. That's something important for you to know and to inform your guests. It's not that bad overall. I mean, again, the vegetation has grown in the last 7 months, but again, for those who are very concerned about privacy, it's important to inform them. And in these new villas here, where you have the retreats categories, and you can know just from the name retreat, you would know that these are the newly built, and the other ones were existing villas that were renovated. So everything was renovated. Every single villa, every single outlet, all the facilities, kids club, pools, everything. And this pool here, this is a new one. Actually, it became the postcard of the property. And the beach. The beach is very good. And on the beach subject, I will show you some of my personal picture as well. Actually, this is the neighboring islands. On one of them, you have the restaurant, and one is inhabited. And here you can see them, the islands in here. So again, once again, maybe this is easier. That's all the new part, and this is the renovated part. Right, and you can see the names of the categories here. So here, as I mentioned, there is a restaurant, and the drift. And for the beach, these are my personal pictures that I have included specifically for some markets that are very, from the beach aspect is very important. And the seaweed question, I wanted to bring this up because that came up in the past. And indeed, just before the hotel closed for renovation, they were not much taking care of it anymore because, of course, they were closing and renovating, etc. So there was some issue that was solved. It was solved by Six Senses, and Six Senses are very good specialists in seaweed, especially from their experience with Laamu, worked with many organizations. So it's there. I wouldn't say that it's nuisance as such. You might find some of it on the shore, but it's cleaned twice or three times a day, depending on the winds and so on. So I have to say, we had once comments, and that was a full moon, and it was super low tide. But then, as soon as a high tide came up, and we didn't hear any more from the clients. But I can strongly say that the seaweed question is definitely under control, and it hasn't been really an issue. And again, depending on the location, they can go few meter or two right, or a meter or two left, and then you will have a good entrance to the beach. And these shots were taken from various areas. And again, this is the aerial area. In the picture, of course, it will differ during the years. Sometimes you get a bit less, a bit more. So that's about the beach. Next, about the villas. So it's 91 beachfront and overwater villas. We have the villas again. All details are available. So what I want to mention, that during the renovation, they did enlarge them a little bit. The bathroom was already good, but they did extend it with the terrace as well. And here you can see the interiors, and the style, the colors of the property. So there are a few villas that actually I'll show them to you on the map. This one, we are not at this point selling them. But the rest, everything else is closed. We are thinking maybe we'll see what to do with it in the future, but that's just for your reference. All other villas are, as you can see on the images in here. Again, this is various categories. And I wanted to say also that we just had a photo shoot. We just had a photo shoot finished now, so we will have new images soon. So that's why in this presentation, you will have some of my personal ones, some of the renderings, some of the real ones. So it's going to be a mix of everything, but we will have new images very soon. So these are the retreats categories. This one is one bedroom. Then we have 2 and 3, and it's 2 levels. And on the top, actually, there is yes, some of the villas you get a full room on the top, and others you get just a little area with a sofa bed in. Very spacious, very nice outdoor showers. Actually, outdoor showers are everywhere. Big pools. These areas with kind of a little facilities for cooking or washing, for private dining as well. So when it comes to privacy, as I mentioned, there will be more growth in the upcoming months. Actually, it's already this is an older picture, and that's for the retreat. So you can see the interiors from inside. Very large, I mean, high ceiling, spacious, and modern, I would say. This is something, by the way, dear colleagues, I'm going to cover with you the difference between Laamu and Kanuhura, and a few key points. And maybe one of the differences is definitely not only location and the island, etc., but the style. I would say in Kanuhura it's a bit more modern, where Laamu is more rustic. And it still remains six senses, but it's not, I would say it's sustainable, not necessarily eco style, right? It's sustainable style, but not eco necessarily style. And also the concept of eco is changing. You can still be sustainable, but modern, and the clients are changing, the markets are different, so they have different preferences as well. So it can be 100% sustainable, but not necessarily wood only rustic style. So that's for the categories. And again, as I mentioned, the plans are available, and you'll probably have all the details as well on the website, on your contracts. These are some personal pictures, amazing views. I mean, the outdoor showers as well. You can have access from two areas. Again, personal pictures. The view look at the picture in the middle. I mean, the sky. The holiday postcard, I call it. So that's for the villas, and there are the overwater villas. They are with pools. I know for the GCC market, for example, even though they prefer a speedboat, I know you work with this market as well, but they like the overwater villas with pools, and they offer privacy. And the two-bedroom, this one, you can see it in here. That's some of the interiors as well, and the two-bedroom has an amazing facilities. Actually, we have this great views and outdoor table for dining as well, and amazing views, and quite private. When it comes to food and beverage outlets, the dining options, we have the main restaurant, and it has a lot of open kitchen style and cooking stations. Again, some personal pictures from breakfast, very colorful, very healthy. You get all the cheeses, the cuts, the food from the organic gardens as well. You get the Italian restaurant on the property by the pool. There's an ice cream place, actually, and you can see a little window in here. This window is to the gym, so guests can also order some shakes, some protein shakes, and so on. So it's a little kind of cafe on the island. There is the point where you get a Spanish restaurant with the pool, so it's open for dinner. Great vibe, nice music, nice food, tastings, tapas style. Amazing chef as well. And in addition, you can see the sunsets, great for an evening drink. And on the island, the neighboring island, Kanuhura, there is also a restaurant, Drift, and there are 4 cabanas. They're quite private, as you can see. You get these cabanas, and then you get the sunbeds. And the restaurant is open during the day. At any time, the guests can hop on a boat, and they'll be on the island. And also just some additional personal pictures from events or guest cocktails with a DJ and the fire and the evening. So also I wanted to mention this subject. The hotel has, since the opening, implemented some additional improvements based on guest feedback. They're doing additional themed nights also on the property, and obviously a lot of destination dining. When it comes to wellness spa, again, a lot of the wellness programs of Six Senses are present. The activities, here we have the hot and cold plunge pool, meditations daily. There is the also Okay, we went from the spa here to an area for teenagers. That is called the hideout. It's actually not only for teenagers but for kids and adults as well, especially on raining days. And there is an orchid garden. In fact, there is an orchid that was developed basically on Kanuhura, in Kanuhura, and named after the island. It's in the uh, botanical books and so on. So there might be, I don't know, more than 2,000 orchid flowers on the island, and a garden with a. You can also have a tour over there. When it comes to the water sports, plenty of options. We work with a third-party company that has, from motorized and non-motorized option. And I wanted to mention actually here the snorkeling. So Kanuhura is definitely more about the beach experience. Snorkeling is available in neighboring island, but there is also snorkeling. I don't know if this image in the middle, literally by boat 2 minutes from the hotel. And I was surprised that the snorkeling there is really, really, really good. You don't have that dip kind of going there, but the snorkeling level is great. But it's by boat. We recommend you can swim. It's a bit of a long swim, but by boat it's literally 2 minutes and it's there. Having said that, I would say it's not comparable to Six Senses Laamu, for example, and Kanuhura. It's still more about the beach experience and the snorkeling, and it all depends on the guest. I have to say, some guests they were great, they were impressed, they liked it because where the overwater villas are, there is some snorkeling there. They do a lot of coral planting. But those who are really, experienced divers, etc., maybe it's not going to be, necessarily satisfactory to them. But then there are options, neighboring islands, and so on. There is an organic garden on the property. There is an alchemy bar and an earth lab. Actually, this is the earth lab where the guests are welcome to do some master classes, activities, all related to sustainability. It can be making paper, making wrapping kitchen paper as well, candle making, and so on. And they share with them the initiatives. This is my personal pictures. They have also an aquaponics facilities, which they collect up to from 50 to 100 kilos of herbs every month that is used in the kitchen for guests. There is also an alchemy bar in the spa center where, in fact, here you can also do a lot of handmade products like for face masks and so on. Many of our guests really like it. A lot of it is complimentary, some are paid. And here's some, again, personal pictures of the alchemy bar. And that's for Kanuhura. Dear colleagues, let me know if you have any questions. Okay, let me go to the map. The widest beach. Okay, the widest beach it will definitely be this area. If you can see where you have FC and F, and up to K. So this is this area, but also, yeah, on this side it depends on the season. So a bit less in here, where you have here on this side. Now it's seasonal. Some of them, I would say, maybe the M villa partially, maybe the L on this corner, for example. I would say, yeah, but otherwise it will be definitely here. And let me show you in here. That will be this area. See, the beach is quite wide in here, and then possibly in the corner around there or in this area. But the white beach would be here for sure. Yeah. I hope you answered your questions. Any additional ones, dear colleagues? We are okay. I have to accelerate a little bit, so I'm sure we have a lot of information to digest. So we move to Six Senses Laamu. Yes, I hear yes. Okay. Six Senses Laamu, a mature property, I call it. So it's located in the southern atoll, Laamu Atoll. It's the only hotel in the atoll itself. And the good news since last year is that in the past it could be reached only by domestic seaplane, domestic flight, and now there is a seaplane available as well. So this is actually my picture I took of the seaplane, the little turtle, or we call it the flying turtle. It's a branded seaplane, and it's approximately. To reach it, it's a bit over an hour to the property, and it's direct. And this is really good news. The domestic flight option is still there, depending on arrivals, departure of your guests and the flights. But the seaplane is there, and it has been much awaited news. So we're very glad that option is there. And here you get another shot of the seaplane. So here you get an overview of the island. And so Laamu has more water villas than beach villas, which is the other way around with Kanuhura. And here you can see all the water villas. And then on this side, we get all the overwater facilities. And it's overall 96 water and beach villas. So and you can see them here. So let me stop, dear colleagues, and get your attention on this map, because this is a frequently asked question. Where is the beach better, right? Or what do you recommend? This side where the water villas are, or on the other side, especially if we're talking about the beach villas. So I can tell you that some markets, including CIS, they do prefer the open beach area, which is in here where you see my mouse 26, 34, and so on. But then the beach on the other side is quite good, the lagoon. So the other side on the top, you get the lagoon, and there you get the open beach. So the lagoon is maybe preferred for guests with families because it's calmer, so it's a shallow, even though the lagoon has very good depth, but it's still, compared to the other side, it's a bit shallower. So here the preference is really to the guests, but I know for certain markets who really want to have this open view of the beach, etc., you can recommend this area. Now it comes to the lagoon question and the depth. I have to say, depending on the low tide or high tide, you can always swim. The swimming conditions will be always good. There is not such a thing where the beach will completely disappear or anything like that. Even if we take the villas that are closer to the shore, you will have at least to your knees, and then the depth goes higher as you move out further away. And also, I wanted to mention that there is only one villa in here with the number 25, but there's few 25s, but I would say here there's one villa where you get, when it enters to the beach, you would get like a kind of a rock. So it's a natural rock over there. And but again, it's maybe 2 meters wide maximum, or 1.5 meters. So if you move on the right or on the left, you can enter it. Actually, you can see it only when it's low tide. So when it's high tide, there is no issues. But if it's low tide, you could see it. And actually, it is. It's a family villa. One of those villas. It's a family villa. Let me throw it somewhere in here. So on this side. But it's only one villa like that, and we usually just put a little note, and that's it. But again, a few meters right or left, and the beach entrance will be very good. So that's for the beach question, and also the house reef. The house reef, you can see it. It's on the left side here, and dear colleagues, it's amazing house reef. It's. I'll talk about it a bit later. I'm in love. I'm in love, and not only me. And now for the villas, just to give you a taste of the interior. So Laamu is more rustic. There is more of the wood element. Even having said that, you get some interesting touches, like with the bathtub here, the transparent bathtub, also, I wanted to mention that there will be some upgrades. We're going to be changing a little bit, but I'm sure it's going to happen this year or next year. But I have to say, Laamu, it's a property that keeps improving every single year. It's maturing. I love it for that. And you have bikes, actually, in both Kanuhura and Laamu. You have bikes at all the property for all the guests. So some of the villas are with pools, others without. Then if we move to the beach villas, get the family ones. We get the actually some of them were newly built, the 2 bedrooms as well. We have even 4 bedrooms villas. So here again, the interiors of the beach villas. We get some families one. So in the picture on the top, on the left side here, this is a family villa, and you see this unit. That's where the kids would stay. But just for information, and there are pictures of it as well on the website. So one of the beds is there, and then the other bed it pulls underneath the other one. So then you can have 2 kids staying there. And here's another view of some of the categories overall, the beach villas with nice areas on the top for dining or just stargazing in the evening. And this is the 4 bedroom actually that was built last year. And it is actually located on the map. If I go back, it's located over here, number 37, the retreat, and it is a 4 bedroom, and the interiors will be a little more with a few modern touches somewhere here and there, and more of the blue elements in it. Next, the organic garden. It's quite big, as you can see in here, with our herbs on wheels, the swimming pool, the main swimming pool, and with the restaurant in there. Talking about restaurants, there is a great choice for guests. I mean, the breakfasts at Laamu are really, truly amazing. Lot of live cooking stations. The crepe station is the most popular because there is a food, I would call it's an artist, not a chef, that is there. So we have the Leaf restaurant, we have the Zen, where you have also teppanyaki table and the Japanese and Asian cuisine. We get the longitude bar over water, ice. Dear colleagues, imagine that by now, they have at least 50 flavors of ice cream. There, they said 50 flavors of ice cream. It's free of charge for the guests. I think starting from 11 until evening time. So it's definitely one of the unique selling points of Six Senses Laamu, the ice cream, the ice areas, and also, in addition to that, there is a chill bar, the Sip Sip. This is by the pool where you have healthy snacks and pizzas as well. Then there is a chocolate making. In fact, we import the raw chocolate and cocoa's nut, and then with our master, can do some master classes and prepare with your favorite flavors. And actually, it's a great activity for families where you can make your own chocolate favorite flavors and take it home or as a gift. And there are also even gift boxes with chocolates with our people, actually with many of the employees and the hosts of the hotel names and then and their comments and so on. There are a lot of destination dinings, picnics on islands. There is an island that's around 30 to 40 minutes uninhabited, which is great for the day visit, for romantic, for honeymooners, for couples, for families, such setups as well on the sandbanks. And talking about honeymooners, dear colleagues, I always encourage to offer your guests or your agents the vow renewals. This is something that you can see on the picture. I've done with my husband, and we have done our vow renewal in Six Senses Laamu, and we loved it so much. So I think we repeated that 3 times, I believe, or twice minimum. We did more after Six Senses Laamu. So it's definitely a great way, to put some, they call it some wood in the fire. And after romance, we move on to the kids. So there is a great kids club, again, Grow with Six Senses, and they do cinemas, expression zones, the craft zones. There is a sleeping as well zone for the little ones as well. And by the way, the kids in both Laamu and Kanuhura get little gifts on arrival. Depending on the property, it's going to be different. And they launched also Junior Marine Biology. It was launched a couple of years ago. It's still running there. They do a lot of great initiatives at Laamu. And actually, this is Lawrence with the kids program, especially in summer. They do a lot of it. So they have to work with biologists as well. And I'm coming to that, dear colleagues. I'm gonna speak about it, and this is really, truly, truly, truly unique in Maldives, I would say, and also unique to Laamu. This is the Shell Center. It's a sea hub, I would say, about learning and development and all the initiative underwater. Successes does a lot. There's a lot of efforts with the community, with the initiatives related to rays, to mantas, to the okay, sorry, dear colleagues, we have somebody, Julia. Hello, hello, Julia. Greetings. So we are at Six Senses Laamu, and I was talking about the Shell Center, and it's very educational. It's almost like a little museum. We work a lot with the schools, so there is an area where you get videos, you get these stands where they talk to you, and they give you information about the turtles, about the rays. By the way, these rays are real. Sorry, not the rays, but the mantas are real size. And then about the local culture. There are 10 marine biologists working in on the property. We work with various universities, a lot of research. There is an area for the kids as well, interactive games, all with keeping in mind the protection of the underwater life. And it's truly, truly amazing place and unique, I have to tell you. I mean, you can visit at any time. Our colleagues are happy to do any tour. They also organize tours, work with schools. And I wanted to mention that Six Senses properties, they always have a certain percentage of the profit that goes to support local communities or local initiatives. For Laamu, they did a lot of work. They built hospitals in the atolls, created jobs, learning. They do the schools programs. So they come to visit or they go to visit them. There is with women associations as well, and including some of the activities related to turtles, the Blue Marine Foundation, the Manta Trust, and so on. So Laamu got a lot of awards for that, and again, working with 10 biologists. There is a seagrass program, and I have to say the house reef itself of Six Senses Laamu is amazing. If you have divers, underwater lovers, or snorkelers, they will not be disappointed 100%. It's really a really amazing house reef. And actually, I have, if relevant, I can even share with you some of my personal. I have an album for the pictures that I took myself, and this is not exaggeration what you see on the screen, because it's colorful, it's beautiful, it's alive. And I'm talking a lot about it because I'm in love with that house reef. It's a place and what's amazing about it is because there is no Wi-Fi there, right? I think for me it was the only place I could disconnect, because you don't have phone, nobody can reach you, nobody can call you. You are there, you and that amazing, amazing ecosystem and underwater life. Truly impressive. Moving on with water, there are a lot of other activities. There are plenty of dolphins, by the way, around Laamu. There is also an opportunity, and please do keep that in mind if you have surfers among your requests you might receive, because there are a few waves. One of them is literally a few minutes away from the property. That's good for beginners, but there is a yin and yang wave that's maybe 10-15 minutes away, and that's very good for professional surfing. And as you might know, surfing is very good in summer, starting from May up to October in Laamu and other places. Now there are also other activities related to the Earth Lab. Again, with all the sustainability efforts, they do quite amazing stuff. And I have to say, they will take the guests even behind the scene. They will show them the whole water, electricity facilities, the sewing, the staff accommodation, because we're so proud of it that you are welcome. The guests are welcome to come and see behind the scene and staff accommodation. And on this note, I wanted to mention that I remember when I asked my colleagues what's her favorite place on the island, and she told me staff accommodation. And I found that amazing, because they do have all these programs, the Eat with Six Senses, the wellness aspect, etc. So there's a chicken farm on the property, the organic gardens I mentioned. Then in terms of other activities, you also get the Earth Lab activities, but also cinema under the stars, then the spa. Moving on to wellness, I spoke about it at Kanuhura with different programs. It's also available in Laamu, and so some of these spa nests, I would call them, they're quite amazing views and design. There is also flying yoga, the property, and yeah, that's in short about Laamu. And dear colleagues, here I wanted to, yeah, this is a little table just to show you what the difference between Laamu and Kanuhura. And Definitely the location. One is located in the north, the other one in the south. The transfers. So Kanuhura it's only seaplane, where Laamu would cover you seaplane domestic as well, flight with speedboat. Accommodation 70 water and 30 beach, and vice versa, approximately, yeah, in the other in Kanuhura. The villa design, as I mentioned, in Laamu, it's more rustic. We have more of that wood element, while Kanuhura is a bit more modern. And Again, Kanuhura is very much known and liked and loved for its beach, while the beach at Laamu is good, but definitely the underwater life is amazing at Laamu for sure. Six Senses Laamu is one island and a sandbank. Kanuhura is one island and two uninhabited islands as well. And then when it comes to facilities, there are a lot of common things, obviously, Six Senses like Alchemy Bar or the Earth Lab, etc. But then you have some little differences here and there where in Laamu you get surfing, while for example, in Kanuhura you get the orchid gardens and one swimming pool or two swimming pools and stuff like that. But uh, uh, they share a lot of similar DNA, but they are a bit different in style for sure, and then the islands as well. So that's for Laamu and Kanuhura. Do you have, dear colleagues, additional questions? We will finish with Six Senses Ziggy Bay. Any questions? No questions. So we move on to Six Senses Ziggy Bay. Yes. I hope I didn't lose you. Okay. Okay. The picture. Yes, I will. Okay. Okay, okay. I will definitely share with you for sure. Yeah, yeah, we do have. And actually, I'll share with you about the Shell Center as well. And I can tell you also we have regular questions about the kids' facilities in Kanuhura. We have an album for that, so I'm gonna put a note yeah, for that and share. But again, the house reef and the underwater life in Laamu is truly amazing. Ziggy Bay, dear colleagues, another one of actually it's one of my favorite properties, quite unique. So I'm gonna stop on a couple of things. So let's start with location now, dear colleagues. We are in UAE and Oman. So and location. Let me explain it for you. So here you see on the left screen you have Dubai International Airport. From Dubai Airport to Ziggy Bay, it's 2 hours max, approximately 2 hours. And what's important to know though, this area here, the green one on the top, this is Oman. However, Oman itself, you see it on the north. So basically, it's the North Oman. Let me give an example of Alaska. Alaska does not have borders with US, and yet it's considered USA. Or Kaliningrad. For those who know, Kaliningrad is part of Russia, but it does not have borders with RF. So it's similar case. So Oman, this is north of Oman, but it does not have borders with Oman itself. And by the way, until now, we still get sometimes these questions or requests like, oh, we're going to Muscat, Oman, we want to combine. You cannot combine. You can, but it's 5 hours drive with two borders control, which is not the most convenient option, obviously. That's why we call it UAE/Oman. It's north of Oman. It's north of Fujairah. Basically, it is north of Fujairah. And it is literally like a 2 hours drive from Dubai airport. It's the easiest way to reach. And here on the right side, you can see the map. So basically, here we have Fujairah on the north southern part, and you have Ras Al Khaimah, and here is Ziggy Bay. So all of this area is considered Oman. Yeah, Wasab, and it's called Musandam. It's Musandam Peninsula. And let me explain here as well about the. I'm sorry, I'm going to stop in here, dear Grace, because this is important information. And also, it is important because we did have some questions that came up, including with somebody from your team, I believe, with Roman and some other team members. So the guests they don't get stamped when they go through the borders here. They don't get stamped in the passport. So what happens? You make the booking, you send the passport copies. The hotel will apply for a border pass. Border pass, it's an A4, it's just an A4 paper with the details of the guests. And with that A4, we have one more person joining. A4 paper, they can cross the border. There is always somebody from the hotel side that they will be there to assist, and the guests do not need even to go out of their car. So they're in their car, they reach the border, somebody from the hotel will assist and present that paper. They check the passports and they stamp only the paper. They don't stamp the passports. That's it. For the border pass, however, there are two things important to know. If it's tourists, they just need basically the stamp from Dubai airport, and usually it can be done in quite easily. Let's say a day, but depending on holidays, we say it from 1, 2, up to 3 days. But if the guests are residents, let's say they have UAE, they live in the UAE, in this case, it takes longer. It takes up to 5 days. And this is not from Oman side. This is from UAE side. Unfortunately, that's how it is. There's not much we can do about. But if you have any, and I know that, I'm sure you have maybe some guests, and I know we have this case who live in the UAE who would like to visit Zighy Bay. Keep in mind this option that they need to book in advance because the border pass at least 5 days to process. But for tourists, in general, everything else, it's not an issue at all. And maybe I'm telling that in details just for you to know, but in general, it's not an issue. Guests wouldn't feel it at all. As I mentioned, with the border pass, you don't even get out of the car. They present the paper, they check stamp paper, and you present it when you go out again, and that's it. So quite easy. And it's quite a nice drive because even driving from Dubai, you can get different Emirates, different sand colors. Then you go into the mountains where you get a bit of that mountain feeling, kind of Omani safari type. So the last 20 minutes drive is a bit of off-road. And from here, from the top, you can reach the property. And there is a great way, one of the ways to check in is by paragliding, as you can see on this picture. It's done in tandem with an instructor, and then you can fly into the properties or just do it at any time during the stay, which is an amazing experience. And I wanted to come back to this slide just to show you the beach. 1.6 kilometers at least of the beach here, amazing. And the property is very green. There is a village next door, which the hotel, by the way, has completely renovated and built up because it used to be like a fishing village. They built a lot of things, helped the communities, got them water, electricity. They didn't have any of that before. And then you get it's quite green actually, and I will come back to the green part and tell you some exciting trees because they have like over 2,000 date trees as a minimum. And about the beach, here's some of the beach pictures, and I'm going to show you. This is my picture I took. The beach is really nice. And I wanted to stop here, and dear colleagues, and mention about the weather because it's also a question that comes up. By the way, luckily, Six Senses Zighy Bay was not affected by the floods, by the rains that were in Dubai. I'm sure you know about it. So yeah, they had to close the road for a while, but then they reopened, and there was no issues. Now about the weather. Okay, so I'm sure many of you are familiar. Sometimes you look and you see that it is 0 degrees, but it feels like minus 9, for example, right? So it is a bit similar here with Zighy Bay. So maybe you can see that, yes, it is 40 degrees, for example, in summer, right, or something, but then it feels much milder. So it doesn't feel that, because especially it's on the beach because of the mountains and its ecosystem. So in summer season, for example, it's still hot, yes, but it's not the same as in the city, for example, as in Dubai, because of the construction, because of the buildings, because all the stones and everything absorbs that heat and keeps it, etc. So here it's completely different. So it's much more milder in summer. However, in winter, it's the other way around. Honestly, I was sure that in winter it's colder because of the mountains, etc. And actually, in winter it's softer as well. And my colleagues used to tell me that, and I was a bit skeptic. I was like, okay, maybe you're just you are you're trying to sell, right? So, but when I remember I visited the property twice. In fact, in winter, it was in December. I did not swim in Dubai. It was a bit chilly for me, but I did swim in Zighy Bay. So in winter, the other way around is correct as well. So it's softer or warmer in winter, and it's cooler in summer as well. So these little things like that. So that's about the beach. And also, I wanted to mention, dear colleagues, in case you hear about it, we had a couple of cases where, for some reasons, there was a beach erosion where we woke up and then the sand kind of washed out. But then, after a couple of days or something, it will wash out back, and it's a natural thing. But it hasn't happened for a long time. It's occasional. Just in case you get such a comment, rest assured that the beach is good. And please, if you need any pictures or latest videos of the beach or anything like that, please do let us know. We can arrange that. The beach is amazing, amazing, amazing. So this is the welcoming of the guests and our colleague who was there actually from the very, very beginning, Omani. And the architecture of the property, actually, it's quite unique. It's very much like an Omani village. And I'm going to start with the activities, dear colleagues, because often something I hear like, oh, it's isolated, it's far, there is nothing to do, blah, blah, etc. And I remember even myself having fam trips. I took fam trips there on the way. Everybody was saying, yeah, maybe you can offer it 2 nights, 3 nights. I was like, it's a crime to come to Zighy Bay all the way there for 2 nights. For me, it's a crime. So at least 3 or 4, there are people who even more, but not 2 nights, please, because there's so much to do. And that's why I wanted to start with the activities. I mean, the sleep, the wellness, the earth lab, the grow with six senses. You have as I mentioned earlier, you can check in as a paragliding, parasailing, then you have paragliding, and then you get this little as well flight experience. Then you get all the water sports, sailing, motorized. You get, by the way, nice snorkeling in the north of the hotel. Yes, there are great snorkeling points, and you can hire even a boat to go around. There are bikes, tennis courts, hiking. There is outdoor gym facilities, as you can see on the screen as well. You get the arrow shooting, then you get a gym, ping pong, indoors, outdoors for kids. There are a great kids club that was built actually just 2 or 3 years ago, and you can see they have recycled a lot of the bottles here. With a nice program for kids. There is a nice program for teenagers as well. Then you have the Earth Lab. Again, here, all of these items are done with recycled glass or upcycled glass. Soaps, candle making. A lot of these programs are free of charge for guests. Some of them are with charge. And then you get the organic garden where you can visit at any time. Just help yourself with the herbs, with any fruits that's growing there. There are cooking classes in that organic garden as well. And on top of that, there is a farm outside of the hotel, around 20 minutes drive. Closer to Diba, there is a farm, a huge farm. And dear Chris, it's an amazing place as well because, can you imagine, have you ever tasted Omani cheese? Well, this is the hotel. They do make local Omani cheese because at the property there is a cow, there are goats, and we use only their milk to make either yogurt or cheeses. They make 8 type of cheeses. Plus, on the property, they do have their own, produce their own honey. And you find either the cheese or the honey or the dates that grow on the property. You find that at the buffet for breakfast as well. So it's quite amazing experience and very unusual for Oman, right? And for UAE, there is a chicken farm. As I mentioned, there is a cow and there are the goats that we use for the milks. And the goats actually are common in that area with the local village. It's not far as well. Kids like it. This is, dear Chris, one of my favorite activity. Well, it's not an activity for guests, I must say. You can see on the screen. I'm here on the climbing date tree. In fact, they have like at least maybe 12 or 13 varieties of dates, and they collect tons of dates every year. Usually they start collecting dates from August, September up to October. They call them the hot date period. And then when I was a property, I asked, can I please climb? I love climbing trees. So, and then they allowed me to collect some fresh dates. Quite amazing. And the guests in their rooms on the villas, they get dates throughout the year. And they have the buffets, compliments. They use it in the welcome drink as well, and in the different local suites and so on. And they're just beautiful, those day trees, and they're like, with beautiful earrings, different colors. And the property actually is I would say quite green, despite even the elements of sand you have there, etc. There are a lot of growth of henna bushes. You get pomegranate, you get figs as well, or figs. I keep going around collecting them. So that's part of some interesting activities, let's say, especially when we invite the guests to show them how the staff members will collect the dates. Then there is a cinema under the stars. Experiences. You get Nabatia here. Here it's destination dining. It's amazing. Actually, it's on some even little canyons in the area. There is actually El Dahab, which also belongs to Six Senses Zighy Bay. It can be rented for a few nights if a guest would like to. It's basically the hotel, but on the water. The spa center with a great hammam, with many activities, yoga, meditations, and so on. This is a hammam you can see on the screen. And there are two swimming pools. This swimming pool is with salt water because the hotel has desalinization station, and with the salt that's left, they use it in the bathtubs for the guests in the villas, and also here in the pool. Actually, the salt is concentration of the salt is quite high. It's not at the Dead Sea, for example, level, but it's quite good, and it's very good as minerals for the skin and so on. And next to this, this is the salt pool, and we have the freshwater pool as well. So the freshwater pool just behind, as you can see there is actually two restaurants, one restaurant and bar, and then you have this tower. So again, the design is Omani tower, kind of where you find it in UAE as well. And in the tower, on the top, you get table for two, and at the bottom, because there is a basement, you get this wine cellar, amazing wine cellar with some of the, again, local element of the trees of the palm in here. The tasting, you get, of course, the classic wines from Europe and so on, but also from Latin America and also from Lebanon, for example, or even sometimes from India, depending what we get from the suppliers. So we can taste some of the wines from the region. When it comes to food and beverage options, there are at least 5 options as a minimum. We get the international restaurant, it's the main restaurant with amazing breakfast, and then we get the themed nights also. There is a summer house. Again, the Eat with Six Senses concept is very much present here as well. Try to work with local farmers as much as possible always. There's on the edge. It's on the top of the property, and actually, you see just in around this area, this is where the paragliding happens also. This restaurant we always recommend to book in advance. And my favorite Shua Shack experience by the beach. And here you can see on the right side in these areas where they cook the meat in the sand itself. So they wrap it in banana leaves, in foil, and so on, and then they put it there with coal. They bury it, they close it, and then with the guests, in front of the guests, they will pick up that meat, and then they serve it, and it's quite nice local experience. So you really get an experience of Oman, and this is something I wanted to mention, that with Six Senses they do a very good job of that. Yes, the properties, they have similarities, and yet they're different, because in every hotel you get the sense of place. You wake up, in what country you are. The hotels you put in Mexico, Egypt, or Thailand, they will be the same. In here, everything, all experiences, a selection of experiences, the designs or the decoration, some kind, even if it's not the design of the hotel because it was built by Six Senses, at least the items, the design, decoration, it will remind you of where you are. and you get to experience the country even without leaving the hotel, and that's very, very important. And you get the romantic options, destination dinings, and then we come to the villas. I'm going to just quickly mention that. What I wanted to mention, important, that 82 villas, they are all with swimming pools. They're all standalone. There are no buildings, and you get 1, 2, and 3 lanes. So that you have the front, which is, by the way, is a sells quite well, and we always recommend Ziggy Bay to book it in advance in the season, especially because the beachfront villas are very much requested. And then you get the second line, basically second front, and then you get even partially on the third in here. And then on this area, this is the largest villa, and it's a three, and we'll see it. It's a 3,000 square meters. So all the villas are with pool. It's a lot of stone and wood. It's done in style of Omani village. So you get the bikes, and for the front villas, as you can see, there is an exit directly to the beach. For privacy, it can be closed. Some of the villas are 2 levels, and again, all the details on the website, that the interiors. So again, sustainability practices. When building it, you get the bathrooms, the outdoor shower, indoor shower. So it's great when you go from outdoor shower, indoor shower to the pool, to the sea, and then repeat. That's a great vacation to me. And here, just some design element. Just it's minimalistic. It's all about the experience, I would say, overall. And there are 1, 2, 3, and 4 bedroom villas. I wanted to mention this is being the largest one, and it is 3,000 square meters, and that's the interiors. It was fully renovated as well. So that's for Six Senses Ziggy Bay. And dear colleagues, I will end. Okay, let me just come back and stop sharing. I'll end on the little stories. I hope I didn't. Try to keep it as short as possible. I'll end on stories at Ziggy Bay. I took a bike and I was going around the property, and there was an area where there was a little descent kind of going down a little bit. And knowing that, I increased the speed and I went like full speed there. And there was some wind. It reminded me of my childhood. And there was a moment, just a little like moment, where I had a full absence of fear. I felt absence of fear. And I was thinking, like, maybe this is the sixth sense. And for me, this was a really, that it's just like the kids, right? When you are not scared of falling off anything. And for me, I think this is where we travel, right? For those sensations, for those experiences, just for that feeling of freedom. And that's what I call the sixth sense, dear colleagues. Yeah, great to hear that. Thank you so much. Thank you, dear colleagues. That's been a pleasure and an honor, and I hope it was useful. We're always here to answer additional questions. I'll do so. I will send you some links because we have some even from personal pictures, especially Kanuhura as well, so you can see that we have some videos, etc. Always here to assist. We are available. We are happy to help always, and wishing you a happy selling. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Take care. Bye bye. Bye bye.